Mike's a hot. Quiet on the slip. 5 seconds.
Action.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Miles.
You're live.
We're recording. All right. Thank
If
you.
you're living with schizophrenia, you may be eligible.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Welcome to this February 25, 2026 open meeting of the Auburn Conservation Commission, which is being operated as a hybrid format under Chapter 22 of the Acts of 2022. The public can join the meeting remotely by telephone by dialing 1-408-650-3123 and then using access code 942-845-549, or you can join by computer at global.gotomeeting.com/join/942-845-549. So materials for tonight's meeting have been posted on, have been posted on the town's website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. My name is Michael Garland. I'm chairman of the commission. And permit me to do a roll call of members participating in tonight's meeting. So when I call your name, please answer in the affirmative. Megan Langley.
Here.
Rachel Girardi.
Here.
Mark Sclamo.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. And also Paul Delaquila.
Here.
All right. So anyone that wants to speak this evening, there's a sign-up sheet that Paul has. Please sign your name. And when if you want to speak, please identify yourself by your name and also by your address. So the first item on tonight's agenda was a 7 p.m. public hearing for an amendment of conditions to construct a cemetery at 0 Cemetery Road. We received an email this afternoon from the applicant indicating that an audit report that they were going to provide to us had not yet come into their possession. So at their request, they have asked to continue the meeting to March 11th at 2026. That being said, is there a motion to continue the public hearing for 0 Cemetery Road to March 11th of 2026?
So moved. This is Megan.
Okay, and is there a second?
I second.
Okay, is there any discussion? When I call you by name, indicate if you agree or disagree. Megan Langley.
Agree.
Okay.
Yay.
All right, Rachel.
Agree.
Mark.
Agree.
And I also agree. So that motion is passed. What time on March 11th?
I think it's the first item might be the first item on the agenda, so listed at 7 p.m.
All right, very good. So 3/11/25 at 7 p.m. And we should notify the applicant of the time. So I just wanted to alert members of the commission. Ricky Arizmi cannot join us, and Michelle Corros is not feeling well at all. So there are certain items that I think I would like to consider, but I think we're going to defer them to our next meeting on March 11th. There was an extension that we had voted on at the last meeting for 31 Byland Avenue. My understanding is that the extension has been prepared. Is that right?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay. I mean, I think because we do have a quorum, I think the members here can assent to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask members if you will assent to the extension of the order of conditions that we approved our last meeting for 31 Byland Avenue. So Megan, do you concur?
Yes, I agree with that.
Okay, Rachel?
Yes, I agree with that.
Mark?
Yes, I agree.
And I also agree. So if you need a wet signature, I can provide you with one. Otherwise, we have electronic signatures of our members on file.
I'll get your wet signature, Mr. Chair, but I'll do the other ones electronically.
All right, very good. Okay, we're just waiting for 7:05, which will be in about a minute or so.
Actually,
I can do it now.
do that right now.
Sure. All right, thank you. Got it.
We all said
Did everybody sign up? All right, I have 7:05 PM. The next matter on our agenda is Michael Maris of Insight Engineering, and notice of intent for property of 47 and 49 Rockland Road. Is there a motion to open?
I'll make a motion to, sorry, Megan. I make a motion to open the public hearing.
All right, that was Rachel, right?
That was Megan
Okay.
in the end.
All right. When you
I second that motion.
all right, thank you very much. Is there any discussion? Do you concur with opening the public hearing, Megan?
I made the original motion and Rachel seconded it, but Rachel, you can do
Right.
this.
But in order to, we've received, someone was unhappy with the fact that we were doing roll call votes by acclamation. And so for that reason, I'm asking you as an individual if you agree with the motion to open the public hearing, even if you're the one that made it.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yes, I agree.
Rachel,
Yes, I agree.
Mark,
Yes, I agree.
and I also agree. All right, the motion carries. Mr. Broder, good evening, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Actually, Michael, the engineer is online, and he's going to lead the discussion tonight. I'm happy to help in any way I can, but I think it's really more in his court for the
All right.
moment.
Okay. So, Mr. Marinus, what have you got to tell us?
Good evening. So since we had last met, I think your commission had hired Walsh Engineering as a consultant to review my plans. I received letters from them dated November 6th, January 7th, and then again on January 28th. Each of those rounds of comments I addressed, and I'm happy to go into detail on all those comments if the commission would like. But specifically, the November 6th set of comments required a full set of site plan revisions, which are in front of you, or should be in front of you. They should be dated 12/18. Then the January 7th comments required a change to the detail sheet, which is sheet 4 of the set. And then lastly, on January 28th, I responded by letter on February 3rd, and I believe the only open comments which I responded in my letter is the question as to whether or not pervious pavement is desired for this project, which is what I'm recommending, and I believe your consultant is questioning, and also whether or not it would be beneficial to have an additional overflow structure from the stormwater detention system to the creek, and again, we're happy to do that. So I believe all of your consultant's comments have been addressed with the exception of those 2 open items, which I responded in the February 3rd letter.
So, Mr. Marinus, the last plan I have is dated January 22nd, 25. Is that the last plan you provide to us, sir?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So in order to, if you follow the recommendations of Walsh Engineering, is that going to require a revision of the January 22nd, 2025 plan?
Well, the 2 items in question right now are whether or not pervious pavement should be used,
Right?
and whether or not there should be an additional piped overflow. So if the commission determines that having standard pavement is better than porous pavement, and whether or not an additional overflow makes sense, there would be a requirement to edit the plans. If the commission feels porous pavement is better, then and an additional overflow is not necessary, then there's no additional changes to the plans that are necessary.
I would just add, Mr. Chairman, in addition to the plan updates, at the commission's request, Ecotech did update the flagging as was noted in a prior hearing,
Right.
and resulted in no change. And so that there's no change to the buffer zone areas, et cetera, on the plans as a
understand.
result of that.
I'm curious, Mr. Beretta, when was the last time you went to the property?
Myself,
Yeah,
it was in the fall.
okay. I'm just wondering where they're putting all that snow.
I don't know, and I'm not sure Michael does either.
Okay. I mean, one of our standard conditions is that there be no storage, and obviously, given the unique characteristics of that site, the access way is right adjacent to the brook. And so that's something I think of significant concern, and I believe, in fact, I think members, some of the local citizens behind us have provided evidence that, I think it was the January storm, that snow was actually stockpiled near the brook, and that just can't be allowed. I'm just bringing that to your attention.
Sure.
And I, at this point, we want to very dearly close out the public hearing for this matter. As my memory is that this was originally filed back in 2024. I've been on the commission for over 30 years. We have handled massive projects where the process of considering a notice of intent and approving an order of conditions took a fraction of the time that this project has taken. And I think there are reasons for that, which I'm not going to go into right now.
I'm sure the applicant would accept a condition that there's, not to be snow removal in that area. And certainly if that's a documented condition, they'll be much more aware of it if they're not already.
Now, it's my understanding that Walsh had concerns about there being a permeable pavement system because they were concerned about trapped water freezing and also maybe a high clogging risk. Do you care to address that concern, Mr. Marinas?
Well, what we're trying to do is reduce the runoff from the property. And if the system were to clog, then you would essentially have standard pavement runoff. So in my opinion, the pervious pavement is better. It does require some maintenance, but that's my opinion.
Okay. Mr. Berger, any other comments?
No.
Okay. I think there are some local citizens that do have comments. So gentlemen, if you want to speak, please identify your name and your address. I would ask, and we've had extensive hearings on this, so I'd ask you to limit your comments to 5 minutes. You can cover anything you need to say in 5 minutes. So if anyone wants to speak, have at it.
Anywhere you want. Tim Daly, 25 Rockland Road. I think that on the property, I think he's correct, they're just dumping snow. But my question is, are we doing things only until the plan's developed and done and signed off on? Or is plowing snow into the wetland area, into the brook, is that illegal to begin with?
It's not permitted.
Okay.
And I can tell you, because it's a standard order of conditions, that I can tell you with a great deal of confidence that that will be one of the conditions that we insist on. And I will tell you, and I think you know this too, that when we've approved orders of condition and we are notified of a violation, that we go out there, and if we think there's a violation, we issue an enforcement order. So, to answer that question, yes. My goal tonight, and based on your comments, I think I'll have a better idea of whether we can do this, is to close the public hearing. And we have, obviously, we have 3 members that are remote and 2 others that are not present today. So we have 21 days after we close the public hearing to issue an order of conditions. So I think the goal would be if we close the public hearing tonight, and I'm not saying we will, but if we do, that we would then go about discussing the order of conditions and probably issuing it at our March 11th meeting.
So my other question, has everything been taken care of as far as
So, sir,
property?
we've had there's been a real back and forth between Walsh Engineering and Mr. Marinas. And I think, except for a few items, I believe that the issues that Walsh was concerned about were addressed by Mr. Marinas. There are a couple of issues that I think are going to be deferred to the commission, and so that's something that we are going to discuss before we issue the order of conditions.
Any of the past work that was done illegally, is that going to be addressed as well?
Define illegal, sir.
Filling in the wetland, building walls without permits, all things like that?
Well, my memory is that I think there was an issue with, there was a wetland area that I think was filled. That has to be remediated. I mean, the wetland has been delineated, and that was checked out again by Ecotech. I mean, in all honesty, this project has gone on for so long that I need to do a deep dive and look at all the documents again. And so, but I will tell you, if there's a violation or if there's been a filling of wetland, it will be remediated. We'll insist on it.
So what will that be, a fine, or will that be?
Sir, I can't the board. We have it within our power to issue fines. We have the power to order someone to do it, and if they don't do it by a certain deadline, we have the ability to issue fines, and we have done that.
Okay.
But I can't speak for the rest of the board, sir, and I'm not going to.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
I
just
think you
wanted-
are, but that's all right.
No, really not.
Okay.
I just want to know about the past, what has taken place, and nothing has been done.
So, there's been a lot of grumbling, and I know going back to 2024, there was grumbling about why the owner or the operator of that recycling facility was allowed to do that. And as I think I pointed out to certain members of the neighborhood, including people here, that we had a defined jurisdiction. Our jurisdiction is defined by the Wells Protection Act and also the town's bylaws and regulations.
Okay.
So if there was an issue with them operating without the proper permits, that is beyond our purview. We got involved because, I think initially we got involved because there was an enforcement order issue, although I'll have to check my records on that. And then we eventually received a notice of intent from the owner of the property. And that's what we've been working on for the last over 2 years. So, and again, like I said, to the point where we felt it was incumbent to hire a consultant who I think made a number of worthwhile suggestions and corrections to the plan that was submitted originally.
Okay, so when the plan is finalized, then does the DEP get involved again?
DP, when you say get involved again,
Are they going to visit the site? And
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would say probably not, because the jurisdiction for this property lies within the Urban Conservation Commission. If there was a blatant violation of the order of conditions, we have the ability to refer matters to DEP for enforcement.
Okay.
And we also have the ability to enforce it ourselves, and we've done that.
Okay, and I know I can't speak for the board, but will you do it?
Sir, we're gonna close the public hearing, maybe tonight, maybe not. We're gonna issue an order of conditions. We're gonna, and you know, I trust that you're gonna monitor the situation, because I have the feeling that's what you're gonna do. And you report to us if there's a violation, then we'll inspect it and we'll make our own determination.
Okay.
Okay?
I mean, I don't speak for anybody else, but we're just as frustrated about 3 years as you are. That's,
You're probably more frustrated. I don't live in the neighborhood. So, and I understand concerns about traffic and hours of operation and that sort of thing. So I understand. I do. And believe me, my goal is to try to wrap this up, get an order of conditions that I think complies with the law, but is also fair to the neighbors
Okay.
in the area.
okay, thank you. That's all I ask.
Anyone else? Sir?
Danny Lodges, 39 Perry Place. Also the town meeting member from the neighborhood, and a couple of the residents asked me if I would come up and just watch the traffic study that they did. And
Okay.
I think Mr. Daly wasn't trying to insult you.
I'm not sorry.
The boards in the past have not followed through. The new member of the ZBA board, Mr. Shea, was out the other morning 6:15, and the trailer trucks were all lined up, waiting to turn into Rockland Road. Well, their hours of business were supposed to be 8 to 5. But this was 6:15 in the morning. So I don't think he was trying to
Well, and
push the buttons on it, but the
Sir,
other
it's
board
like-
members have not, I mean, other boards have not followed through, and I think all their hope is in this board now.
so in terms of traffic studies and when the hours of operation, clearly that's not within our jurisdiction. I wish it was, okay, but it's not. And so all I can do is, we follow the law. We try to make sure that the applicant complies with the law. And if we determine that they don't, we have an enforcement power that we use. And so my only suggestion is that if they're not following through on the hours of operation, you've got the Board of Selectmen you can speak to. You've got, I'm not sure exactly who would have jurisdiction over that, but I believe there are other voices in the town that can probably provide some assistance to you.
It was the, correct me if I'm wrong, enforcement? Code enforcement was supposed to, well, they've already gone through. So Mr. Chair, it's been like a giant circle. They keep, this one says it's this one, this one says it's this one, this one says it's this one. So I think their hope, and my hope, I do live in the neighborhood, and I've witnessed, numerous trucks. I mean, I've seen one take out a telephone pole, I've seen one block, and your jurisdiction, I think, is their hope, and that knowing your board is gonna follow through, and I appreciate that.
Like I said, my goal is to close the public hearing. We will discuss and we will vote on an order of conditions. And my thought is that we will probably do that our first meeting in March.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to clarify a couple things, because I know Mr. Daly wasn't trying to,
It's
insult you or,
no, it's fine. I'm not insulted.
okay? Thank you, board.
Anyone else?
Just one quick,
Sir.
Dick Chandler, Rockland Road. Were those order of conditions talked about within your committee?
Yes.
Will that be an open meeting where we can be involved?
You can't be involved, sir. Once we close the public hearing, we then deliberate. You cannot ask us questions while we are doing deliberations, okay? But we will deliberate. It's an open meeting. We will have deliberations at our next meeting. And hopefully, I think we have to issue under the, I think it's under the Wetlands Act. Once the public hearing is closed, we have 21 days to issue a decision. Our next meeting falls within that 21-day period. Unless the board were to vote on having a meeting out of order, my hunch is that once the public hearing is closed, deliberations take place on the 11th and a vote will take place on March 11th. And you can attend that, but you can't ask questions. You can make faces at us. You can laugh, you can chuckle, you can scowl. It's not going to make any difference, And frankly, if it's a crappy day weather-wise, just watch it from your house. So, but that's the answer. I mean, this is a very transparent process. We don't do things behind closed doors. Any other questions? Mr. Rafferty,
Yes.
you have a question, sir?
A question, several questions, actually.
5 minutes, sir.
Okay, start the clock. So, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, but you closed the public hearing, but the board could vote to reopen it, could they not?
Sir, my feeling is that the answer to your question is we could. My feeling is that,
That's all I needed to know.
why would we?
In the transparency.
Excuse me, what do you mean by transparency, sir?
Transparency meaning if you're deliberating and someone finds there's something wrong taking place in the deliberation, people might want to give their opinion, that's all. And that's why, if you want to, you could reopen the hearing. That's what it's there for. Anyways, I don't want to belabor that argument. I want to make a couple of statements or a couple of questions. Is it the conservation's duty to report any conservation violations that they discover or that they hear about? Is it your duty to report to the DEP?
I would say, do we have a duty to do so? I would say in most cases, no, we don't. Because we have the ability, we have the enforcement power to remedy those. There have been instances, sir, where we've had issues where the violation was so egregious that we felt that DEP had to be involved. And we've made a referral to DEP. I think we've done that, and again, I've been on the board since 1995. So I think in 30+ years, I think we've done it 2 or 3 times.
But third question is, my understanding is the Board of Selectmen and the Assistant Town Manager could confirm this. It may be going to Town Council to examine whether or not the variance that the company is operating under, they may be violating the rules of that variance. If that could be an issue down the road, would the board consider delaying an order of conditions?
Sir, what you're asking is to continue this matter indefinitely. You're also, you're posing a hypothetical to which there's no definite answer, correct? To the best of my knowledge, unless you have other information, neither the town manager nor the board of selectmen have made a referral to town council looking into whether or not a variance has been violated. Sir.
Could the town manager, assistant town manager confirm that?
Sir,
They haven't made a
sir,
reference?
that discussion is beyond the purview of this hearing. So again, you're dealing in hypotheticals. And sir, I've heard a lot of grumbling that this matter's gone on and now we're into our 3rd year. The matter needs to be closed out.
My final question is, I understand that the documents concerning this meeting, as required by the open meeting law, were I understand that the board received them, but they may not have been posted for the public to view as required within 5 days. It's not a question, it's actually a statement. If you are in violation of that and you vote to move forward with this, you may be in violation of open meeting law. That's all I wanted to alert you to.
Thank you for that. Any other comments from the board? I'm sorry, from the audience. Any comments from the board? Hold on. Sir, name and address.
John Capuano, Rockland Road.
Yes, sir.
I understand that Paul Delaquila, he had submitted a request from the DEP regarding the snow being dumped into the brook in one of the last storms at the driveway. And as of yesterday, he hadn't got a response back from the DEP as to acknowledging that complaint. Am I right?
You can answer.
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct.
through the chair.
Yeah, through the chair, that's correct. After the last meeting, I heard the conversation, so on my initiative, I reached out to DEP based on the context that we have, and it's asked the question, if snow were being pushed into a sensitive area or wetland area, is there any recourse before an order of conditions is issued? As of this meeting, I haven't heard anything.
And when did you issue that request?
The day, I don't have it in front of me, the day or two after the last conservation.
meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not surprised that you haven't heard from them. I will tell you this, if snow has been pushed into that brook, we do not need to have an existing order of conditions to issue an enforcement order, because snow that's piled up against the brook or into the brook could contain contaminants, could affect the wetland area. And so it's within our ability as a board to issue an enforcement order, sir.
I think that some of the people here, they have photographs of pictures of the snow being dumped into the brook.
Do you know what the date is of those pictures? What's the date?
We have one today,
Okay.
and we have one on the January storm,
All right.
and those were stamped by the office.
Mr. Chairman, this isn't an enforcement order proceeding, right?
Not
This
yet.
is an order of conditions proceeding.
I understand that, sir.
I'd like to stick to that if we can.
We can take up other matters, though. So I take your point, though. I do.
So I have one more thing.
Are you sure? Go ahead.
So, the last meeting, I sat down at the table there and we went over the maps. We reviewed the maps, I made some blown up pictures of the maps and distributed them. We talked about different things that I found should be issues with the maps from Maris.
Okay.
And when you go and have it approved by Walsh, those issues wouldn't be discussed with Walsh. That would be more along the lines of
Well, he's our consultant, sir. So
But-
he was working in our direction.
so was he, I'd like to know, was a guardrail mentioned to them?
To answer that question, I think the answer is no, because they were focusing strictly on the plans that were submitted.
Right.
Okay, but as I have said in at least one previous meeting, given the volume of traffic on that access road, giving its proximity to the brook, I think a guardrail is a good idea. That's my opinion. That is something that the board will discuss, I am certain, at our meeting on March 11th.
Perfect. Perfect. That's what I'm
Okay?
asking.
So you asked the question, I answered it, I think,
Yeah.
how many meetings ago? So yes, that's definitely on the table.
So, the guardrail, and also I can just add to that,
Okay?
if there is snow being dumped into the brook, if having a guardrail, that would prevent the snow plow drivers and backhoe operators from dumping the snow over the guardrail.
I understand. Okay.
And the arborvitae trees and all that stuff that we discussed, perfect. Next meeting, you can adjust that, address those.
Understood. Thank you.
I'm done.
Really?
Yep.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
Yeah, so
And this is Megan, yes?
this is Megan, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm looking at under the stormwater report recommendations, this is like in both the,
What's the date of
the Walsh, so both in the Walsh peer review letter number 2 from January 7th and the Insight January 27th response. So this is about the permeable pavement. So, there's some disagreement between the two engineers on this. Is this something we should seek the input of the town engineer? Walsh hasn't necessarily expressed a recommendation of one over the other, traditional versus permeable, only that.
I think, Megan, I think they're deferring to us on that. So I think that is it's certainly within our authority to make a decision on that.
Okay,
We've got
do,
two views.
and I guess,
we
sorry.
have two views of the same issue.
say that one more time, sorry.
There are conflicting views on the same issue regarding whether or not permeable pavement is desirable at this site.
Okay, I think I just personally don't feel like I have a good handle on pros and cons at this site. So that's just me. I mean, we can, talk about that later. I don't know if the town engineer has an opinion, but if we do close the public hearing on this, I'm just checking, this is something that we can decide on after we close the public hearing?
Well, it would be a topic of conversation while we're deliberating on issuing an order of conditions.
Okay, I just didn't know, since we have to approve a final site plan, I didn't know if the final plan, which would indicate the type of pavement, would need to be completed before or after we.
But to your point, are you suggesting, or are you recommending that we have the town's engineer review this, even though we've hired Walsh as an independent consultant? Do you want them to weigh in on this? And I'm not opposing that. It obviously means that we don't close tonight, but, it's only been a few years. So, I mean, if we want to go an extra meeting or two, my goal here, and I want to say here, my goal is to get this right. And I also understand that in all likelihood, someone is not going to be happy with some portions of any order of conditions we issue. But we're trying to make this as transparent a process as possible. We want to make sure that there's been input from all sides before a decision is rendered. I can't be any clearer than that. Anyway, Megan, to your point, do you want to refer this to the town engineer?
I think that I personally would like to know the town engineer's opinion. I also would like to know if Walsh has, I know that they were not, he was not expressing an opinion here. He was just pointing out technicalities. But I would like to know if he does have an opinion one way or the other. If he had to, if the choice was his, I guess, asking if he does have a recommendation one way or the other.
Okay.
That's my opinion.
We can certainly direct that specific question to Walsh Engineering, and I'm sure they'll get back to us.
Okay, I think that's my main one. There's also number 18 that's in the Walsh document that says, they'll defer to the town and Mass DEP on determination of whether the site use qualifies as a land use of higher potential pollutant load and is subject to standard 5. I personally don't know a lot about that, but I'm just curious if, who makes that determination and if that's something that we've closed the loop on.
Why don't we do this? Again, I don't think, in all honesty, that the town engineers had a great deal of input since we retained Walsh. I think certainly it's something that they can take a look at. And so Megan, is that in the form of a motion?
Sure. I make a motion. Do you want me to make a motion specifically about just getting the input or about continuing the hearing? I don't know if other people have.
I think we're talking about referring this to the town engineer for their comments on, the give and take regarding the permeable pavement, and also about the other issues that are raised by the Walsh Engineering Associates report of January 28th, 26. You mentioned number 18. There's also number 23 and also number 28.
That sounds correct to me. I make a motion as you just described.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Thank you.
Rachel.
All right. I'm going to ask you by each member to whether you concur or whether you oppose it. Megan.
I agree.
Rachel.
I agree.
Mark.
I agree.
I agree also, so the motion carries. So as a result then, gentlemen, this hearing will not be closed this evening. We will refer materials to the town engineer to answer those questions. And Mr. Broder, I presume you don't have an objection to us continuing the public hearing to March 11th, sir, do you?
Candidly, I sort of do.
Okay.
I think, I'm not really sure I understand what the scope of the discussion would be. If it's the permeable pavement issue,
Well, it's more than just the permeable pavement. You've seen the January 28th letter
I
that
have.
Walsh issued, right?
I have.
And I think, to Megan's point, I think there are concerns about number 18, about number 23, and also about 28. And so we are just looking for the town's input on those issues. I mean, I would try to limit the scope to what is referenced in the January 28th letter.
So the
Now, what we could
discussion
do- go ahead.
would be with the town engineer.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would point out, they did have extensive involvement with the land disturbance permit review and discussion. Granted, that was some time ago.
Right.
I'm not sure that the plans are materially different, substantially different, I guess, maybe I would say, because I guess maybe there'd be some quibble about how different they might be, but I don't think this issue was raised. But perhaps they'd have a specific opinion, I just don't know. I mean, I guess, you know, our thought with our recommendations and the letter from Michael, the February 3rd letter was, you know, we see things differently, but we don't want to fight about these issues anymore. The permeable pavement issue, if somebody says, look, we're not doing that, you know, we think that, you know, Walsh's opinion is overwhelming here, and, you know, they don't want to see it. We think there's reasons that it might be good, but that's fine. We would just remove the issue from the table and say we agree. We'll remove the permeable pavement. You know, we're willing to do that as well with that pipe issue that Michael mentioned before. So I guess we had really hoped that we would be to the end of the road on discussion of these items, and that they haven't come up yet. It's just disappointing, I guess.
Okay.
Through the chair, I would say I don't think Walsh has expressed an opinion against permeable pavement. I feel like I don't personally have enough engineering expertise or see an opinion expressed strongly one way by Walsh, one way or the other, for me to feel like I have an informed decision-making information on this, and that's why I would like for the town engineer to have an input into this.
I mean, I think that's
And
fair.
yeah, I know sorry?
No, I think you're right. I think that's fair, and I think, to Mr. Gross' point, I don't think the engineers looked at these issues. And they certainly have an expertise. I mean, they're a professional engineer, they've got a license. I think they can offer their 2 cents on this. So again, as I think I've said about 14 times, I dearly want to close the public hearing, but I want to make sure that there's no, doubt among our members about the right way to proceed. So I'm asking if the applicant agrees to continue the public hearing on March 11th, and if the applicant doesn't agree, then I'm still going to ask for a motion to continue the public hearing anyway.
Oh, understood. Is it a reasonable expectation that the March 11th meeting would have the answer?
I don't know, it's 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I'm saying yes.
I know, because I know all the folks here will probably show up that night, and
It's their right to do so.
and if don't have that answer, that would be
Well, the other option,
another continuation.
again, it's been continued too many times as it is.
Sure.
If you are more comfortable continuing it to the
No,
March 25th
We're
meeting.
happy to agree to continue to the March 11th meeting.
Okay, thank you.
But I would like to know if there's any other comments or open issues. I don't know that you went through. I'm sorry I'm not trying to dictate your meeting, but I'm not sure you covered all the commission members. I just want to make sure.
The issues that are discussed are where, Walsh is deferring to, it's interesting, he says to the town and Mass DEP, so I think maybe we will also get input from DEP on this specifically. But I think I'm primarily concerned with 18, 23, and 28 in the January 28th letter from Walsh Engineering. Mr. Daly.
5 seconds. Tim Daly, 25 Rockland Road. I'd just like to say that, I think, and Attorney Broder, this is most directed at you, this is our property, this is our neighborhood. So we're not here just to, throw a wrench into the wheel. We're here because we're concerned about the future of our neighborhood. Period, bottom, end of story. So I hope that we haven't offended anybody, but that's what we're here for. We're here to defend our neighborhood. And we got really
That's all I would ever.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, in that case, may I have a motion to continue the public hearing for 47 and 49 Rockland Road to March 11th at 7:05 PM?
So moved.
That's Rachel?
Megan, sorry.
You guys sound alike. Is there a second?
I second, Rachel.
All right, you sound a little different. Okay, I'm going to ask you if you agree or disagree. Mark?
I agree.
Megan?
Agree.
Rachel?
Agree.
I also agree. All right, the motion carries. All right, so we're continuing this to March 11th at 7:05 PM. I want to thank everyone for their attendance. Thank you, Mr. Marinas, for participating remotely. Thank you, gentlemen, for attending, because we do listen to what you have to say, and Mr. Broder, thank you.
Sarah, thank you.
Drive safe.
All right. Don't hit me. I know, I get it. He's not offended.
Oh, if more
You
guests
need-
come in,
I can't talk to you.
can I request that you call
Oh, you
me
know what you need to do.
I can, yes.
when they come in, so I'll have a chance to go back and look at them? Not that it's gonna make any difference.
I don't know if we're gonna get any additional at this point, but if anyone's, if they have news,
Sure.
I would-
I do respect you very much.
Thank you.
And you'll ever know.
So I'm not,
Okay, it's cool.
we're still in the meeting,
I'm
I'd like
fine.
to say that. I'm-
You're still in the
yeah,
meeting, sir.
yes.
So, I actually wanted to share something with the commission. And I think, Paul, you will find this interesting. So just for members of the commission, back in 1984, their property was deeded by a number of individuals to the Conservation Commission. And strangely enough, the property is located, and there's actually a street address, it's 225 Webster Street in Worcester. And it's approximately, I think it's about 17 acres of land, and it was donated to the commission for conservation purposes, whatever that means. So I did a little research this afternoon, and I found that the property is assessed for $813,000, and it comprises about 17 acres. I can also tell you, it's 18.04 acres, I apologize. But I can also tell you that in all the time since the town has owned it, it has never paid any taxes on it. No taxes whatsoever. Now, I think this issue came to our attention because there's a building on that property, right?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so I have no idea who put that building up there, but it strikes me that if someone put a building on that property after 1984, and if it's being used, if it's being used as a business, and you know, they erected that building without the permission of the Conservation Commission, then they are trespassing. That's number one. And there are probably other issues. This would actually make an interesting bar exam question, I think. But I'm not quite sure where we go with this. I think probably this will be a referral, I think, to the town manager to see what she wants to do, and maybe the town council. Do we know anything about the building or what it's being used for?
Mr. Chair, from the small amount of research I've been able to do, it appears to be affiliated with a business in Worcester called Pobco. I'm not sure the exact nature of the business, but it's right adjacent to that business.
Okay.
And it appears to be in use, and it appears to have been there for some time.
Do we know what some time is?
The city of Worcester had done a little bit of research on it. They weren't able to find anything conclusive.
Okay.
They think it might have existed in the 60s, but as you alluded to, it seems that the deed documents say nothing about any structures.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
And do we think that building or that business is being operated currently?
I drive by there frequently enough. It looks like it's operational, Mr. Chair.
What kind of business is it?
Can't quite tell. It's a it's a garage facility connected with something. Again, the company next door is called Pobco. I'm not sure if they're like a materials, plastics kind of
Okay.
something or other.
So we don't even know if that building was on the property when it was conveyed by
There's,
the Jacobsons to the Conservation Commission. Is that
again, the small amount of research I did, there's no structures or maps that indicate anything was there.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
given that the street address is technically Worcester, that's probably why it didn't come on our radar screen, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I mean, certainly it's it's interesting that the Conservation Commission owns 18 acres in Worcester, but the town's never paid any taxes on it. And I'm pretty confident. I mean, until you brought it to my attention, I think actually Mr. Fallon did sometime last year. We had never had any dealings with this property, at least in the 30 years I've been on the board. So I think it bears further investigation. I guess I'll contact Ms. Vecchio and see what she wants to do, if anything.
Through the chair,
Yes.
it's Rachel. You said 225, not 25, right?
225 Webster Street is what the city of Worcester has it listed. It shows that
Okay.
the town of Auburn Conservation Commission owns it.
Yes, so when I Google it in the Google Maps, it comes up as like where Donut Express is in the barber shop. By Hope Ave, by the Rotary?
It's by Hope Ave.
Okay.
Through the chair, the Google doesn't show the property boundary, but the property is essentially the pond.
It's basically, it's
Through the chair, sorry, Rachel again. That makes sense. Thank you. That was my next question because you have the pond right there.
yeah, basically, there's a
Wow, that's cool. That's incredible.
there's a map that shows basically, it's on the pond.
And Mr. Chair, the business, if people want to Google, the business we're referring to is, apparently the address is 99
Right.
Hope Ave.
Okay.
99 Hope. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Is that
Yep.
is that 90, or is that the address, or is that just the plot number?
That's the address of the business that
It's 99?
that may or may not have the encroachment.
All right. Okay. Okay. Is there any new business? Okay. There being none, then, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And again, I'm going to ask you, Megan.
I agree with my motion.
I thought you might. Rachel.
I agree.
Mark.
I agree.
And I agree too. All right, the motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you for your participation this evening, and I'll see you on March 11th. We are done.
Thank you.
Excellent.